Hi Aditi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chirag. Well, it's 3 p.m. and we are all set to begin with our today's webinar. It's a lovely Wednesday afternoon. A very warm welcome to all our participants present here today. HR Association of India, along with Great Manager Institute of India, welcomes you all to the 2022 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Leading People in Current Times. Great Manager Institute conducts a Great People Manager survey in India and have come up with the list of top 100 managers, and the recognition is powered by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute, where we are fortunate to have 5 managers from the esteemed list who would be sharing their success stories, mantras, hits and misses, and achievements over leading their team in current times. To know more about HR Association of India and Great Manager Institute, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all the participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It's my privilege to introduce you to our esteemed speaker, Ms. Debosmita Ghoshal, and I would like to congratulate her over this achievement. Ms. Debosmita Ghoshal, Head HR and Communication and Soft Skills Training, AVP, GI Outsourcing. Debosmita is an economics graduate and has done PGDBM in HR from Symbiosis Distance Learning, Pune. Debosmita is a skilled professional with extensive experience in human resources and has handled key projects like automation of HRMS, streamlining of HR policies, launched R&R processes, introduced and implemented new L&D initiatives across all hierarchies, competency management and coaching for senior leadership team, improved performance management system, redefined organizational culture and core values, wow factor in admin services in organizations such as Janpact, First Source, Securance, and GI Outsourcing. Debosmita has been a panelist and guest of honor in a seminar conducted by the Fire and Security Association of India on corporate security, women's safety, gender equality, and POSH remedies in 2018. She has been a recipient of the Best HR Company to Work for award at the Golden Globe Tigers Award ceremony in Malaysia in 2018 for excellence in HR leadership. She represented GI Outsourcing to receive the prestigious award Dream Company to Work for in accounting and finance, KPO outsourcing, and consulting sector at the World HRD Congress sponsored by the Times Ascent in 2021. She was also honored with the award Most Innovative HR Tech Leaders India at World HRD Congress. She has also been recognized as one of the top 100 managers of India for 2021 as per a survey done by the Great Manager Institute and published in January 22 issue of the prestigious Forbes India magazine. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same has been shared in the chat window. Congratulations, Ms. Debosmita. We are super excited to have you here. We will now hand over the platform to you to take this discussion forward.
Sure. Thank you so much. And I had quite forgotten all the great things that I'd done, and you made me remember, and I'm feeling good about myself because of you, Faisal and GMI. And we'll go forward. Before I go ahead with the presentation and share my thoughts on leading in difficult times, I would like to thank Great Manager Institute. And I have few names which without whom, and the way flawlessly you guys have handled the entire thing from getting the nomination till now, where I'm able to share this. So, heartiest thanks to Ojas, Yash, Jaya, Shivangi, Faisal, Anokhi, and Nilanjan. You guys have been great and a big help and great support. And also to our MD, Mr. Vikas Chadda, because of whose encouragement only, I could get an opportunity to nominate myself for the GMI Forbes Award. And then the repercussion of that, a positive repercussion of that, is that I'm able to share my views with esteemed people around. And thank you so much again. Going forward with today's presentation. Sharing the screen, just let me, Faisal, know that it's showing.
Yes, sure, Mr. Ghoshal. Still, it's not shared.
Yeah, just give me a minute.
Yes, it's shared now. I can see your presentation.
Okay. So let's start with the presentation. It's the Dialogue Masterclass series. The topic given to me by HRAI and Great Manager Institute is leading people in current times. It's definitely a very interesting topic and very relevant. When we say difficult, times or current times, so the thing is, we've had our challenges before the pandemic. When we say current difficult times, it is definitely, before COVID, there was something else. Now it is when the COVID happened, when we call difficult, then it talks about the COVID-19 situation. And after that, post-COVID, it's a different scenario. So I have taken up all the aspects. Before I start off, just to share with all of you, when I thought of preparing this presentation, so I was just thinking that when we talk about leading, when we talk about leadership, so there are many quotes by great men. Leadership is about showing the way, doing the way, going the way, and leadership is about making a person do one's best without imposing that you are leading the person and hence the person is doing the best. But I think with every circumstance or scenario, the definition and the need of what kind of leadership is required also changes, it transforms. And I think with respect to our current difficult times, the need for a leader, or what we aspire from a leader, is this. And that is, a leader is a dealer in hope, by Napoleon Bonaparte. I truly believe this. In these last 2 years, I have been HR for quite some time, but these last 2 years have been tremendously different and difficult also. And my version of HR has been different in different organizations. When I joined GI Outsourcing, at that point of time only, I joined in February 2020. And in March 2020, the pandemic started and we started working from home. And being at home, being at such a level as an HR head, and dealing with people, not knowing most of them. So it could have happened that I have spent considerable time in the organization. I know everyone by face and everything. And then this happens, then the kind of interaction and engagement, it would have been pretty different. And you can place yourself in my shoes, where I have just joined and people are new to me and I am at home and dealing with people who I've never seen, or maybe through video I'm interacting, and that is my sole channel to know them and to get them engaged and engage with them. So, during this journey, what I felt is that here the leadership trait is not more about the intellectual capabilities and bringing out that from people, but keeping them motivated, showing compassion, and as it says, giving them hope that everything will be fine. Now, why it is important and what kind of difficult situations I've gone through, that I'll be showing in our next slide. So we will be sharing some insights on, though when we talk about difficult, as I initially told that most of it is with the challenges during the COVID period, but I have also I'll quickly touch upon the pre-COVID challenges at workplace, which was already there. And now what has happened is a new set of challenges which has come due to the pandemic. And after the pandemic, when the double vaccinations have been done and now people have started coming to office, it's a new, different set of challenges. So let's go through all three set of issues that we are facing and how do we resolve them. And what are the common, when we talk about mental health of people, because of these challenges, what are the common problems that we have come across? We'll touch upon that. And there is one, if you have to jot down, there will be many points that we could do to overcome them. But actually, all of them trickles down to one common point from a mental health perspective. And if we can win that, then we can win anything. And last but not the least, we'll summarize all the points that we have gone through in the PPT. So going to the next slide. Yeah. So I'll quickly go through this. Pre-COVID challenges at workplace have been some of these. So I mean, you might people who have been handling people, mainly HR and leadership, they would understand that how when we say a new joinee is coming to the organization, both the organization and the new joinee, both of them are excited because it's a new journey that they start with each other. But then when it happens, whether with COVID or without, it comes out with its own set of challenges. So there's a sense of vulnerability both on both part. The organization thinks that the person is coming, how the person will cope up within 6 months before the confirmation, the performance of the person, the grooming, the training and everything, and how much purposeful that employee will be from a productivity standpoint to the company. Whereas the new joinee is also in a vulnerable situation, thinking that whether I'll be heard, whether I fit into the organizational culture. So these are certain things we have already been facing. The other thing is problems with co-workers. So once a person gets ship-shaped into the culture of the company, the next thing comes up that how, as a team, how the person settles down and is the person able to gel. One of the very important question of our ESAT survey is, do you have a best friend at your workplace? And which is very important. It sounds very soft, but it is a very important point, because is the person feeling motivated to come to office apart from work? Is there a feel good factor or not? And if it is not there, then it has been hampering productivity also. Other thing is workplace ethics and integrity issues. So this is a very important backbone of any organization. What are your ethics? How is integrity taken into? We have everything in our policies, manual, and everything is jotted down. And we use the best of our craft to design it in the best of our abilities. But then it also depends, because everything is to do with people. We have given the best, but how it will be taken by people and how it will be instilled in people and how the outcome of it will be, it sometimes it's very dicey that whether it will be taken in the best of the abilities or not. So this is, and if it is not, then the issues keep coming, and handling those issues, that becomes a challenge. Dealing with harassment, different kind of harassment, workplace harassment due to difference of opinion. And since we are human beings, such things are bound to happen. Sexual harassment. So all these, while this is I'm talking about when the COVID situation wasn't there, any which way we were facing these issues. And these are issues where you have to give your best, because one has to be fair, because one is dealing with a person's reputation, a person's how the person will be taken henceforth, and one has to be fair in the decision. So these are very complex situation, and we have already been facing these issues any which way. Getting along with reporting manager, or most of the times, if not, due to lack of communication, due to not having enough clarity from each other, and due to lack of dialogue, these issues come up, these challenges happen. So this is something which we've already been facing. And because of, as a cumulative result of all these challenges, or a few of them, what happens, people start looking for jobs outside. And sometimes it happens like, the employee himself keeps complaining about the organization. I don't know how much of switching job, because complaining about the organization would help, because we also have our own attributes and we have to shape them. If that doesn't happen, going to any other organization would also not help much. But this is how a person takes these situations, and this is the outcome. And because of those attritions happening, obviously we have the challenges of people leaving and then taking new people and grooming them to that level so that we get the same level of productivity. And 6 months don't go anywhere. We take 6 months to get the same kind of productivity happening. That is the least that I'm talking about as per my experience, not only in this organization, but elsewhere. Also, recently, there's another thing that has come up, and which is also, it can create havoc in any organization if not taken seriously, and that is diversity, inclusion, and equity. So racist comments, or the gender equal opportunity not being there, and there being a disparity of the female population and male population working in an organization. And then definitely inclusion, like there some people who are differently abled, are we giving good opportunities to them also? So and another thing that can be added is the CSR thing. So there are a lot of challenges and a lot of news thing. Everything is not a challenge, but there are a lot of things that can be done to improve, that could have been done, and any which way there was room for improvement to increase the capability of an organization any which way. So having said that, we had these in any which way, and then comes March, around the 2020 year begins, and especially from March onwards, these are the new set of challenges which we were not even expecting. And while the course of journey, this is that has come up, and these are the challenges that have come up. These are something very unique to the pandemic. We, as an organization, us and otherwise, I mean, most of the organization would have had a work from home policy any which way in their manual or policy. But it has also gone through a lot of revision because of the different journey that we have taken place due to the pandemic. So now I would talk about what are the workplace challenges we have faced during COVID. And I would also share, if I'm talking about resolution, so basically what we as an organization, what GI outsourcing as an organization has done. I'm sure the points that I'm sharing are nothing new. It's not rocket science, and it's not that we never thought about it. But to every challenge, there is a different approach of curbing it. So I will be sharing how we did it, how GI outsourcing as the leadership and HR in collaboration, what did we do, and what are the results? And the results have been overwhelming. So I will be sharing those. One of the challenges that we face due to the COVID situation is healthy and safe on-site workplace. So it's not that people who are working from home, they are not in a healthy setup, or I shouldn't say that, but during the calls, we used to have a lot of skip meetings and video calls and all. And what I could infer from those discussions is that a lot of people were very comfortable coming to office because of the setup, because of the hygiene. So when we talk about employees, there are different strata of people. This doesn't encompass everyone, but there's a set of people who would feel better to come to office, and they have a better hygiene and better facility they feel they have felt. And hence the productivity also depends on that when we are in such a safe setup, which they might not get when they are working from home. There are different kind of issues when we used to talk to them. I'm talking about the period of 2020 and mid 2021. So in that period, when we have been interacting with the employees, so some have their issues at home, maybe hygiene issue, maybe domestic violence issue, maybe they are not well equipped to sit and work the way it is supposed to be. So because of those challenges coming up, we have been we are privy to these kind of issues. And as far as the resolution is concerned, so in that sense our IT team has been very helpful to make sure, the IT team and the admin team, that as soon as the pandemic was announced, the PCs were sent to their home, and the connectivity and everything was done flawlessly, as much as could have been done in our own capacity, so that they can feel comfortable while working. As far as healthy environment is concerned, they have to do it for themselves. And when the pandemic happened, we did provide them with facilities like masks and sanitizers, and each was done for each person in their own desk. So that when that facility was provided, at that point of time only it was said that the work from home thing should happen. And that is how the IT and admin team have been very, very capable of getting it placed in no time. So that is how we overcome that situation. Job security. This is something very tricky. GI outsourcing has been extremely, I'm not saying because I am representing the company or HR, because I know my friends who have been in other organizations. When it comes to job security, not even a single person has been laid off because of lack of jobs, in GI outsourcing. Because of COVID, nobody has been laid off. But what happened is, now that is where I'm coming from, that how robust communication is very, very important. So there were some, I think that this kind of challenges maybe other organizations have also faced. And it's very unfortunate, because when it doesn't happen for a particular reason, and for some other reason, people take it in a different way. So there were some people who did not do well, and they were underachievers, and they did not perform well after repeated feedback, and then hence we had to do away with such employees. But the grapevine went like as if because of that issue, because of COVID, we are asking people to leave, which was not the case. So hence, how did we resolve it? How did we overcome the situation? We had a robust communication through mails. And when we used to do our skip meetings, we used to make the ops heads be in the call, and we used to communicate it to them correctly, that they need not feel insecure because of the pandemic, because we as a team are very compassionate. And we don't even, if you see our LinkedIn post, we don't even call ourselves GI outsourcing company. We usually call it GI turns or GI family. So and family for a reason, not just to add that lingo that we all are together and all, not superficially. In genuine terms, we are like that. And if a person has to do with the job, then it would be for discipline issues, it would be for performance, it would be for integrity. But for this reason, neither we have laid off anything and anybody from the company, and it would definitely not happen that way. So that is one of the challenges that we face, and it was pretty much of a challenge because it went on for quite some time. We faced something like this in September 2020 until Jan 2021, Feb 2021. We that period, it was very crucial to make them understand our real motive. So, but now thankfully we don't have such situations. connectivity and belonging. So it might sound repetitive because it's pretty much connected to the first point, healthy and on-site, safe on-site workplace. So to add to that, when I'm talking about connectivity and belonging, so yes, there have been issues. People have been working from such, their homes are at such places where it is very difficult. I mean, either there are electricity breakdowns. So for example, if a person is working out of Nala Sopara or Bhiwandi, so these places, we have our employees there. I'm talking about these names because most of the issues where the electricity breakdown or network breakdown has happened. So I'm just giving some examples. So, but again, our IT team, so when you have a strong team, we will have challenges, we will have such issues coming up. But when we have a team which is integrated to the vision of the company, to that level that even if they have to stretch, even if they have to go extra mile, they will do it so that the productivity is smooth. So all kudos to our admin and IT team for being able to do that. Also, if I'm talking about network and connectivity issues, so we have reimbursed the transportation cost of sending PCs to employees' home and back and forth when they have come back. So we have reimbursed that. We have given reimbursements for electricity and network connectivities as well to make it easier for people, so that it's hassle-free, not only from smooth functioning, but from their pocket also. They don't have to pay because it's not their problem, or it's not because of them that they are facing this issue. It's a global issue, and hence we have been compassionate enough to do that for them. Coming to the next thing, it's very important. This is, I won't say a favorite point, but this is a very crucial point. This is something which definitely needs to look after. And I think a decade back or something, mental health, this issue has evolved with time. People never used to take it much seriously, not only in professional terms, in families, in personal terms also. So the mental health was never termed as or considered as something which has to be looked at as a matter of concern like any other disease. But definitely it can be a hub of other diseases. So this is something which definitely needs to be taken care of. And when it comes to our GI family, we have been very much thoughtful for our employees when it comes to this point. Now, there are a lot of if I have talking about the challenges, so obviously, see, earlier, if I'm talking about the 80s and 90s, the only way and source of information was perhaps news. There was also only just one channel and newspaper. So that is the only source of information. Now there is a plethora of sources of information because the technology has advanced to that level. And hence, when you're sitting at home, you have so many different channels of giving you the same information, sometimes even aggravating it to an extent which the situation might not be that dangerous, but the way it comes to us seems like, as in, God forbid what has happened. So when so much of information is coming and you're living with your own family and you are stressed, like in our own organization, unfortunately, in 2020, a lot of our employees, back to back, they've lost their parents, relatives, and every other day, some sad news used to come. And hence, obviously, when we are in such a vulnerable situation, the mental health definitely is sure to go for a toss. So that challenge has always been there, but we have done our bit. We cannot curb the personal issues people are facing, and any personal loss is something which nobody can replace. But to make the person feel at peace, what can we do? So we have done online yoga classes. Yoga, not only just the exercises, but the science behind it. So we've had someone who is an expert in it, who has explained the spiritual aspects of it, not just doing the exercise and that is how you just calm yourself, but the science behind it. Why we are doing this particular exercise, not the other asana, because because this is a problem statement and this will hit it. So this is something which we've gone through. Also, we've had from HR, we've been sending on and off content around nutrition, content around what precautions people can take during the pandemic, content around sanitizing ourselves, and not just copy paste from Google or something, but through the entire journey, what our learnings have been, and accordingly, what are the different things that they can do to prevent themselves from this disease. Not only that, we have a proper training academy that operates from UK, since we are a UK based organization. So and the name of the this training portal is CEDAL. So they also, and the leadership, I would thank the leadership for being so thoughtful. The initial trainings have never been to do with performance, that you do this, you do an Excel, you do that, and you increase your productivity. No, because our prime focus, first of all, that will definitely happen. But to excel in productivity, first of all, what we as an organization want is that our people's mental health, emotional intelligence, everything is at peace. To do that, what could we have done? So the first three trainings that the CEDAL incorporated were to do with stress management, were to do with work-life balance, and was to do with our this how we can improve the mental health of people. So we had these three trainings coming from UK. And that also gave our people a global perspective. It is not that how we are dealing here, but if it is coming from UK, so it gave a global perspective that how different countries are dealing with it. So it definitely gave them a different insight and positivity to cope up with their own mental health. The next point is something very unique to those employees who are parents. Apart from, so you can well imagine, and we all have, people who have been doing work from home and have children, they would vouch for the fact that multitasking is something which we have done in these days, because we have been doing our best to give our best performance from a work from home scenario. Along with that, our household activities, along with that, also taking care that the children, the homeschooling is happening in a perfect fashion. So because the person's entire attention is not only to work, but on other things also, which is also very important. So that has been pretty much of a challenge that could have been pretty much of a challenge and can be from a productivity standpoint. But since that is where the role of an ops head comes through, when they are handling their teams, to not only check on the work thing, but also check on the other aspects that an employee is going through, to see that whether the person is dealing with everything. So if a person is not able to add to the work, then what are the challenges, and how through the person's suggestion they can overcome these issues. Children and family health, pretty much to do with the earlier point as well, but here there's just a step ahead. We're talking not only from their education, but children's health as well as other family members' health as well. So COVID has been a vulnerable situation because of one relative, the other person also getting affected and all. Let me tell you one thing, that we, GI Outsourcing, we are a 20-year-old company, and there has been a lot of transformation in the last 2 years. Before that also, the things were going pretty well, but there has been a sea change. If you also go through our website or our LinkedIn, maybe the posts that are done by our MD, Mr. Vikas Chadda, or if you can check out my posts also. In these last 2 years, you will see there is a difference how things were handled earlier and how it has been handled. So now, so there, it is not, I'm not talking about the negatives or positives, but definitely there has been a transformation. So for example, earlier, since I'm taking this point, so hence I'm emphasizing on it. Earlier, this organization used to only think of the health of the employees. But in the last 2 years, we as a team has also emphasized on the employees' family members' health as well. So earlier, the medical insurance policy that was there was to do with only the employees. Now the medical insurance policy also takes care of the family members. So it mystically it happened at the same time when the pandemic was happening, and the leadership, there was a change in the leadership and all. So hence during the same time, because of the change in the medical insurance policy, the people who had suffered because of the disease, or some or the other offshoot of the disease, they could get themselves cured through the company's help, and not only them but their family members also. So it was a big help for them. This change in the policy was a big help to them. So this is how we could overcome this situation. Heavy workload. Yes, this is a common problem that comes up. So obviously it can't be an excuse of less productivity, but when we talk of heavy workload, we have had a lot of employees complaining that we are doing work from home, and when we used to come to office, there is a coming time, there's a going time, and there's a start time, there's an ending time. So we used to work till that time. Now since we are doing work from home, so we have to stretch, we are doing much more than what we are supposed to do, and these complaints coming in. So obviously during skips and all, this has been handled. So we have reiterated them that it is all to do with how they wish to manage their time. So so if they are getting some work and they are able to save time on travel, it is up to them whether they want to utilize that time for the extra work. They can always do it. All that, the deadlines are the same. Nobody is asking them to do more, and much before the deadline they need to share the work, nothing like that. So the stress need not be taken. But we also have a habit of, since we are working home, so let's just finish the work, and when we do it, then we only complain that we had to do so much. So obviously it has to do with time management, and if it is well explained to the people that you can manage it in a way so that you have ample time to give to your family also, I'm sure this would not be much of a problem. This is something we've already discussed, touched upon because of the other points, the household responsibility. So people have to, again, it's a matter of time management. People have to juggle between their kitchen chores and their daily grocery, as well as their work-life balance and all. So this has been some of a challenge. Physical health. Why I'm bringing this point is because when this COVID situation was there, the challenge was not to just keep your physical health, at really great, but also a balance. So one has to be, when you're at home, you have to take care of your, as the earlier point says, the household responsibility. One has to excel in the work that is given by the company. Also, that both the things can only go hand in hand if our health is at par, with excellence. So all these three things have to, come in sync with each other, and then only things can go. But one has to exercise also. One has to keep oneself fit from a diet perspective, from an exercise perspective, so that we can give our best to our household responsibility and our work. And we also have to make sure that we don't get blown out because of our household work and our work responsibilities, so that our physical health is good enough. So it is kind of a vicious circle, and the challenge has been to keep a balance on all three aspects. Whoever has been able to do it has been able to give excellence in all these three aspects. The next, I'll take 2 points together because it is interconnected, very much related. So obviously, because we are doing work from home, so there have been such challenges, and this is something which I really accept. In other aspects, there are ways of curbing them, but here it is all about notion. So since people are working, people have been working from home, and we, if I have to particularly talk about GI outsourcing, so I'm talking about the period of February 2021, March 21, that period, that was a little complex period. And I'm sure people who had their appraisals during that time, the companies who had it at point of time would be able to relate with me, because that point of time, this is something, even if a person is coming to office and knows the appraisals are coming, even if things are transparent, still people have doubts that whether my performance will be taken the way I have done, whether I will get a fair evaluation, whether I will be rated in the way I deserve. So all these thoughts keep coming. This happens even, used to happen even, in the pre-COVID times. Even if you have enough transparency, even if things are, all open, that this is our process, still people have been having doubts about it. Just imagine when people are working from home, not seeing each other, just the work is going and back and forth is happening through mails. Just imagine, and I'm sure we all can relate to it, that people would have that vulnerability, that how would my work be evaluated? Nobody, I've never spoken to such and such team leader, some new person coming in and just got, it's been just 6 months after confirmation, very new on board and still eligible for performance appraisal. Especially this chunk would definitely have that vulnerability and uncertainty that how would the appraisals be done. So what we did is that we got on calls, especially me and Vikas. We spoke to our ops heads that just to for in that line itself, we wanted them to not people not to panic, and what they need to communicate so that people are not anxious. So to curb that anxiety, we framed mails which first of all appreciated. So once you show your gratitude and appreciation to people, automatically they get onto that mode where that anxiety and that confusion level any which way depletes. So wherever we have communicated, whether through video calls or through mails, we have always made it a point that when we start the conversation, first of all, we share our gratitude, because it's a new challenge. It has been a new challenge for everyone. Nobody was anticipating something like this. And in such vulnerable situation, how beautifully and flawlessly our employees have given the productivity in spite of the challenges which I've already spoken about. So bearing them, still they have given such a great performance. So we had shared a mail of being how we are an employer of choice. What is the vision that we want to see in future? What is the contribution that we are expecting from our people? And gratitude to them for being excellent and brilliant so far in such testing times. And going forward, appreciating their capabilities and contribution. And then talking about how the appraisals will happen, when it will happen, what is the format of self-evaluation, how the process will happen in after self-evaluation, when they will be evaluated by their ops heads, which are the parameters. The KRAs were already in place, thankfully. So all these things were in a very transparent fashion that was communicated through video calls as well as through mails. And hence, since they had a fair idea through the employer of choice mail about the growth and progress opportunities, where that employer of choice mail helped in this particular point, the communication through mails on appraisals helped on the next point, that is fair performance evaluation. So everything happened working from home, but we could do it flawlessly, and we did not have many back and forth issues coming up because already our communication was robust and very clear with about the timelines, about their expectation, about when the amount, and when if there is any pro rata amount, then when it will get credited in their account. So they did not have any ambiguity related to, obviously some or the other thing keeps coming, that's very individualistic. However, if I have to talk about a generic notion about how the appraisals were taken, so I think it was one of the best ways we could do. And if any of my audience wants to really know how happy they were, so you can go to our my or Vikas's LinkedIn profiles, and there you will see verbal testimonials of people telling us that they are really happy because appraisal is something that people always keep complaining, this is not as per my expectation. All. But if something as complex and as personal as appraisals, if there we are getting testimonials from people, and those also verbal one, not just on a mail that, thank you for doing this, but it's elaborate testimonials telling that how the experience was earlier and how it has enhanced because of this step. So it definitely gives a boost to us also, that we all are aligned to the same vision. The companies are into the same vision of growth and prosperity, not only from a revenue perspective, but also from an employee excellence and an employee satisfaction perspective. And being an HR for me, and what more happiness can give me that my employees are satisfied and they are so verbal about it and so vocal about it. So this is how we took everybody through the issues were there, and this is how we curbed the issues and resolved their problems. Quickly, I will take you through that now. This post-COVID challenges at workplace is about what is happening recently. Now most of the people are doubly vaccinated. So we did a survey of to understand even if somebody is doing a hybrid or something, but this is a deadline, and by this deadline, everybody should be doubly vaccinated, come what may. And the new joinees we are taking, when we do their HR interview, we are taking care that we want to make it sure that even if the person is doing a work from home or a hybrid, because now the scenario is more of a hybrid scenario. Most of them companies are doing a 50-50 thing. Some people are coming to office and some people are working from home. So we have made sure that even if people are at home, but because from their family members' perspective, because some or the other time they will be coming to office, so we want to make sure that all of them are doubly vaccinated. So now we have people, they are coming in our, we have two facilities basically, Mira Road and Andheri in Mumbai, and we have an Ahmedabad and Delhi facility as well. So the reason I am specifying this is because you can understand that as leadership and as an HR, I have the best of both the worlds. Like, I have people who are doing outstation activities for me, and I have people who are coming to office also. So I have a good mix of all kind of challenges, and I have a good mix of all kind of resolutions that I could have thought about. So coming to this first point, it's a very tricky point basically, and that's flexibility. So I'm talking about challenge. So many people would think how come a positive word like flexibility can be a challenge. So flexibility in technically as a word is not a challenge, but because of the flexibility that we have given to people, the niche challenges that I'm facing, I just wanted to share quickly them with you. So like some people are doing work from home, some people are doing hybrid, some people are coming to office. So again, like I had touched upon a point where people misunderstood laying off people due to non-performance and thinking that it is because of COVID. So here also there are certain misconceptions that keep up coming, like people saying that why a certain person is doing work from home when a certain person coming to office. So there are certain set of people who trust me, they want to come to office and work. There are certain kind of people where the client is okay for them to work from home, and depending on the dynamics of the role, people either are working from home or office. So when we get those challenges, we have again communication to them again comes into place, that how do we convey them so that they are convinced that nothing unfair is happening with them. Whatever is happening as per the need of the role, as per the need of what they are doing. So for example, if I have an admin person who has to deliver PCs, who has to deliver laptops, or who has to take care of, and the person has to do a lot of physical activity, can I imagine that person working from home? No, that person has to come to office. There are some niche profiles who have to come to office and work. However, there are certain profiles where we have something called direct resource managers, who, if they are not coming to office, they can work from home. And in fact, that is also helping us to save cost, because they can work from home, and we can have as much seats required for people working from office. But so these are certain things when the leadership would understand, maybe the employees would not, because but we will have to instill that kind of maturity and that kind of understanding to them, that it is nothing that the company wants to be unfair with you. This is the reason why this is happening, and if at all there is any exigency or anything, definitely they can work from home or office, whichever they wish to. And also something which is related to the next this thing only, policies. Coming to the work from home policy, initially only I said that the work from home policy was not that elaborate. I don't know about how the other companies done, but I have the different companies that I've worked in. It was never that elaborate in those the earlier organizations that I've worked with as well. Now, since this pandemic has happened, and while we have had our own journey of to see what are the challenges we face when a person works from home. So when I talk about challenges, is to with the connectivity. It is to do with what does it mean working from home? Does it mean that working from home means the same city as the office, but working from home? Or does it mean working from your native place, even if it is not the city? So there are a lot of nitty-gritties and complexities to it. It is not as simple as it sounds, that is just work from home. So we have initiated this connected workplace policy and made it part of our HR manual, because this talks about all the complexities, all the possibilities of all the confusions that a person can have related to work from home. Everything has been put in black and white, that when we talk about work from home, we mean this. When we talk about connectivity and reimbursement and amount and all, we mean this. When we talk about that, do you have a proper setup? So these are certain things that your home should have. Then only you can do work from home. Otherwise, not. So it doesn't mean that you're doing work from home, but you don't have enough connectivity stuff thing and all. Even if the IT team has provided you with the required help, but still there are challenges. Like for example, there are certain areas where they would have a load shading from XYZ timing to some other time. So like from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. it's bound to happen. Then it doesn't make any sense for that kind of person to work from home, because we will be losing on our work and productivity and reputation with the client. So those kind of people have to come to office. So that clarity has been given, that from a policy standpoint. Here I just spoke about one policy, but because of the pandemic, there have been some niche issues that have come up, and we have made it part of our policy. It has added up in this fashion. Contracts of employment, very important point. Since we have taken a lot of people through remote hiring, so hiring has also happened through video calls and all. When we have it face to face, so a lot of paperwork, lot of files, updation, and everything happens in a prim and proper fashion. But when it happens through work from home, most of it is through soft copies. So this is something which we are in work in progress, because we have the offices have opened completely recently. So this is something where we need to definitely take care of, because right now the people are new. We might not have anything much to do with the contracts of employment. We can keep the soft copies, but going forward, when their appraisals happen, or when we have to give a PIP, if at all, or if we have to, if there is a disciplinary issue, these documents only come handy at that point of time. So a soft copy would not help, and these things are supposed to be. We can't rely on technology completely. So such things are also to be there in proper shape. Team building. What we have done, we understand that since all people cannot be together, so we have these. If we have a celebration happening, New Year, and it is always great to have all people together, but because this since it's all virtual, partially virtual now, so what we do is we don't only rely upon the celebrations that are happening in our work area, but also we do virtual meetings where we don't talk about performance at all. just a one-on-one discussion, as in how things are, a video call, or just to say a hi, as in our ops heads are doing that, how things are, everything is fine or not, if that person is not able to contribute on a face-to-face basis in office. So that helps in team building. Data protection, obviously, during the pandemic and post-pandemic, since people have been given laptops, and also it is very important to see this, the IT teams to abreast the employees with the fact that the data protection security measures are taken when handing over laptops, or when the exits are happening, when we get our assets back. Has that been done or not? Because since people have been working from remote and now it is hybrid, the probability of leaking of information is more as much as compared to when people start, when the 100% attendance is in office. So that needs to be taken care of. Safety first. So obviously, when people are coming to office, there are some people have this confusion that people are coming. The parents have the confusion that people will be coming through public transport, and once they land up in office, is the sanitation proper or not? Do we have enough sanitizers, people to put masks, and is that happening or not? So some facilities would be there which are already doing, where the offices are there, and some offices have to take care of them. If it is not a proper facility, it's an office in its own way. So they have to take care of these measures to give that confidence to the employees, and hence it will cascade to their family members. But if they're coming to office, they are in safe hands. The social distancing is happening properly. The safety measures and everything is taken care of. So this issue happens, but it's not the difficult thing to resolve that. So a outcome of all these, what I felt while I was preparing this PPT and was going through all the memories of how all that has happened till now. So anxiety, stress, confusion, anger, and all these things makes you feel that life seems hard. These are the plethora of emotions that people have gone through. And the measures that I've already told, it had one common point. It had one common point, which if we could deal with that, then we thought that we could deal with anything. So I would take this opportunity to share a quote from the Bhagavad Gita, as Lord Krishna has put it in Adhyay 2nd and Shlok number 38. Sukh dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yudhyay yujasva nevam papamavapsyaisi. The entire meaning is, as Lord Krishna says, that we have to, have equanimity, whether it's sorrow or happiness, whether it's confusion or clarity. But the second sentence is what actually hit me, which means every tough situation is like a battle where we worry and thereafter intellect is blemished. One who is calm in tough situation, so he is bound to excel. So the resolutions that I shared along with the challenges, if you see, whether it's giving a medical insurance, whether it is robust communication, whether it is doing skip meetings, and whether it is hearing out the grievance, everything, it ended up on one thing only, to make them think that you have to keep your calm, don't get anxious. And that has actually helped in the excellence that we have been giving from month on month. So to summarize, these are the things that we, in a nutshell, did so that we could overcome with the tough situation and helped us in leading in these current difficult times. Supporting others, leading with compassion, communicating effectively, building trust, creating stability, being decisive, prioritize our well-being, encourage our people, protect the culture, being example, being authentic, being GI, basically, and create alignment across all departments and functions. And that has definitely helped us. And if at all, I'm really thankful to GMI and Forbes if they have considered us, me and Vikas, in that forum. So a lot credit has to be given to these measures, basically. Thank you everyone for being patient, and I would love to hear from you if there is time left. I think I took a lot of time.
So before we move into the Q&A session, we will be initiating the poll. Request all participants to kindly share your feedback. While doing so, request all participants to kindly post their questions in the chat window. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the e-certificate offered by HRAI. You can claim your certificate by sharing your details, name and session attended in an email to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by the 28th of February 2022. We will email the e-certificates to you based on the details received latest by first week of March.
Thank you everyone for the overwhelming response, and I'm glad to be part of this esteemed session and being able to share my thoughts. And as you know, my LinkedIn, if you are running short of time, if there is any query, you can come to me. If I would also love to know what you guys have been doing in your organization. It's always great to brainstorm. I might just learn something from you and incorporate in my organization, which perhaps we've been missing. So I would love to do that. And if there are any questions, anything that you want to know, or me,
Yeah,
any
we have
comment
one
that
question.
yeah.
Yes, Debosmita, we have one question that we have received from the registrations.
Mhm.
So when we talk about current time and coming future, how our workplaces, jobs and skills are shaping up? How can we remain relevant in future?
That's a beautiful question. So, like sometimes what I feel, my experience have been that sometimes you're not prepared, but when things start happening, the relevance, we also sometimes don't know that we had this intrinsic capability of overcoming these kind of challenges. Had this session been in 2019, I would have been a different version. But now, since it's happening 2022, it's a different, and I also perhaps we didn't know that I could do all these things and we could gracefully, come up with something like this. As far as skills and JD is concerned, so now if I have to see every role, every role and every department has its own competency. Some when you're talking about JD, some competencies are created. So there can be a change in the competency that we want to shape now. So, for example, I would just like to put it this way, and I think it would answer the entire thing in a comprehensive way. Earlier, we used to put a lot of emphasis on the intelligent quotient of people. Now, if that is there in the assessments also, I have been part of an management training assessment in Genpact, and when the results were shared, I could see that more of it was to do with intelligence quotient than emotional quotient. Now, since we have come up with something like this, you can well understand that how important is to understand the emotional and handle the emotional quotient of people, because it is not the times are not that you have this target of these many hours and you just do it. Times are also where person's emotional health and how an offset, or me as an HR is being able to, do we have the capability to keep that emotional health happy and making the person feel safe, so that the person can give its best here, rather than just talking about the KRA and the productivity and all. So I think, I don't know, we have to look into how to quantify it, or how would we look at it, that who's better in this particular aspect. Maybe, through the mails, or maybe testimonials that I spoke about, people can share their feedback about that this particular person has been really helpful in this tough situation. So those mailers or those feedback can help. So that can be looked at how to quantify. But my suggestion is that when the JDs are created, how ops head or how the leadership is able to contribute to the emotional health of people, does the person has that capability or not, should also be incorporated. If a person can excel there, there is no looking back in terms of prosperity and progressiveness of any organization.
Very good. Very nicely said.
Thanks.
So there's one more question from Reema Purohit. She's saying that how have you ensured that employees glued to the company culture and values during the remote work environment?
Great. That's also something very a very useful perspective to look at. So during remote, so let me tell you, what's the name of the person who's asked the question?
Reema Purohit.
Rima, you've just touched that chord in me because, as I told you, that I joined in February 2020, and March 2020 this happens, and I hardly know the people. But here, my previous experience, because in this organization, since it was in this phase of transformation, so something like an ESAT survey. So in the question that you've asked, surveys like ESAT or work from home surveys, like you like recently LinkedIn did a poll on whether what a person would what an employee would feel good about. So most, I think 80% people have vouched for hybrid. So sitting at home, I mean LinkedIn also from a software perspective, they got this perspective as in what they are. So for me, because I did not have that kind of face time, technology was helping me because, and my previous experience, because an ESAT survey never had happened here in a very organized fashion. So there are certain what kind of questions need to be asked. So for me as a new person, before I could give any resolution to people, I wanted to know what problems they were facing. So the ESAT survey that I did, where I had these questions that do you have a best friend at home, how best friend in office, and do you have enough, are you equipped with the right materials to work for, or what kind of do you get reward and recognition, do you get encouragement from your reporting manager and elsewhere. So my sole grace to help me with these was an ESAT survey, which I did in mid 2020. So it gave me a good insight of, well, even though I don't know much of the people and they are working from remote, but I could hit, what is going inside their heart. I could catch that pulse from that. And after 2 months, again, I did a work from home survey because most of people were doing work from home. So to understand that, is it really helping? Are they facing any challenges? Are they facing, are people happy working from home? Are they, all the issues and the resolutions that I just now gave, it is an outcome of that survey only, because that survey showed me the mirror that if I'm thinking I'm doing work from, I'm doing a very good job, maybe it's not like that. It's actually not like that. Maybe I'm in some paradise, but I need to shape a lot of things so that it improves. And because I could resolve, so today I could share that those resolutions have worked. So yes, the surveys, technology, Google Forms, when you're at home, all this can help, and definitely video calls where you can interact. Obviously, there is no, nothing can compete with a face-to-face interaction. Like I'm talking to you, had you been asking this question in front of me, I would love to express it in a different way. But now, because of technology, this is all that I can do. This is how I had taken care of these issues.
So I believe there are no more questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Debosmita, for making this session so insightful and thrilling. The discussion was so relatable that our participants were deeply engrossed as they enjoyed every minute of this session. There were many takeaways from this session, like challenges during the pre-COVID, COVID, and post-COVID times, and their resolutions through your personal experience. It has been a pleasure being with you today. I'm sure our participants have done had a lot to learn and take away from this session. This would not have been possible without Great Manager Institute, where we have privilege to be working with them on this series. Though we all know about Great Manager Institute, I would want to welcome Ms. Anoki Gambre, Business Development Analyst, Great Manager Institute, to share a few words about Great Manager Institute.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anoki. So I am a business development analyst at Great Manager Institute. It's been 4 months since I've been working with the institute, and it's been an amazing journey. Firstly, I'd like to thank Faisal and the entire HRAI team for conducting such an insightful session. And thank you so much, Debosmita, for sharing your thoughts and making it more insightful. So I'll be sharing my screen and I'll be talking more about GMI, I'll be giving you a brief introduction to what Great Manager Institute is all about. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Great. So most of you would know about Great Manager Institute, but I'd like to give you a brief introduction. So GMI, that is Great Manager Institute, is a sister concern of Great Place to Work India. And we've done a lot of research on work culture, and we've observed that a great organization is always recognized by its managers. And we've also observed that people management impacts the overall organization. So if the people manager performs certain practices in the organization, then it inspires the entire team, which in turn improves the performance of the organization. Hence, we feel and we believe that managers are the connecting link of the organization practices and the employee experience. So moving on, we are just 4 years old, but we are associated with 28,000 plus managers. We have coached 28,000 plus managers, and we are associated with more than 1,300 plus companies. And we broadly our offerings revolve around three fundamental pillars, that is connect, develop, and inspire. So this is a model that we follow here at GMI. Connect meaning having regular conversations with the team members and being fair towards them. Develop meaning giving constructive feedback while providing growth opportunities to all your team members. And inspire meaning recognizing your team's contribution and celebrating it together. So Great Manager Institute broadly has two offerings, namely leadership and manager development programs. That is the intervention we have, which is known as Great Manager Certification, and the top 100 recognition, that is the Great People Manager Study. So today I'll be just walking you through the Great People Manager Study. So Great People Manager Study is a survey that gives you a feedback from your team members, and it helps you become and grow as a great people manager, right? So the participants, they actually go through a multi-layered and it is a 4-layer process which happens in 2 rounds. And last year in 2021, we had around 10,273 managers who had participated in the study with and 4189 organizations, and that is how we recognize the top 100 managers in the top 28 companies. So through the Great People Manager Study, we aim to help the managers assess themselves, assess the style of people management, and compare it with the relevant benchmarks that we have, right? So there's certain key takeaways that I'd like to walk you through that we have for the Great People Manager Study. The participants have access to the in-depth analysis of their profile, and they also get an opportunity to get recognized amongst the list of final winners of the year, and which is published in the Forbes magazine. And the study gives you a detailed overview of your areas and strength of focus and strength of areas of focus under each pillar, that is connect, develop, and inspire. And throughout the year, we conduct a lot of organic branding initiatives for all the winning organizations and leaders. So these are certain takeaways, that is the winners are recognized in the Great People Manager Awards. And it is also, the winners are also recognized in the Forbes India magazine, and the profile of the winners are also published on the website of Forbes India. So we have the registration open for the Great People Manager study for this year. I will be pasting the link in the chat box for you to just go through it and register yourself and connect with us to understand more about the study and how the process and the methodology works. All right. So thank you so much. That was all from my side.
Thank you, Anuki, for letting us know about Great Manager Institute, and thanks for the benefits extended to the HRAI members. I once again thank our dear speaker and Anuki for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass tomorrow on the topic Leading People in Current Times, a session by Mr. Balaji KS, SVP People and Client Success, Rishabh Software, on the 24th of February 2022. Request all you to kindly register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window. Also, do join the Dialogue 2022 WhatsApp chat group through the invite link shared in the chat window. That's it from our today's webinar. See you soon. Stay safe. Take care and bye for now.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, GMI
Thank
team.
you. Thank you.
Thanks
Mr.
to our MD Vikas for giving me this opportunity, without whom this wouldn't have happened. And thank you so much, each one of you, all participants, for being such patient listeners, and I'd love to interact you on LinkedIn and connect with you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Debosmita.